How to find AI YouTube niches that have high RPMs upwards of $40. Now, YouTube channels can vary in RPM. I'm going to show you the biggest value bomb I've ever posted on this channel and exactly how I personally go about finding $30+ RPM niches, how I optimize my RPM, and how using a few of these tricks that I'm going to go ahead and show you in today's video can double or even triple your pre-existing RPM. And this is not established channels. This would literally work for a channel that you're already currently running. You could quite literally double your RPM just by watching this one video. Really quick, guys, if you want to go ahead and join my public Discord server, that's discord.gg/1%. And of course, guys, it's not financial advice. It's simply me giving my own opinion on what's currently happening in the current landscape of YouTube as a whole. Now, first things first, obviously finding a niche. And what are we actually looking for in terms of RPM optimization? What makes a good niche? And how can we actually optimize this to be able to get those $30, $40 RPMs that we actually see all over Twitter? Now, the biggest and first and foremost thing is actually having a first world demographic. And I'm going to show you exactly how I check this. Now, if you guys don't really know, the biggest kind of way you can actually optimize your RPM right off the rip and what kind of contributes to the biggest thing on an RPM is, of course, where your viewers are from. So, of course, if your viewers are from India, Pakistan, Sudan, you're, of course, going to have a much lower RPM than you would if your viewers are from the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and first world countries. And that's not to be racist. That's just because advertisers are willing to spend a lot more money to acquire those first world viewers than they would be to acquire those third or second world viewers. Now, how can we actually figure out if a niche is pretty high in a specific, demographic? Now, it's very, very simple. Let's say I wanted to start this specific channel here, this raw Minecraft kind of channel where like why starting YouTube now can change your life in 6 months. A very, very good way we can obviously find a niche that has a high US demographic. And this is very, very easy to do. And again, this is probably the biggest thing you can do to actually get a high RPM. If you're targeting a niche that doesn't follow this criteria, you're simply never going to have those $40, $30, $25 RPMs that you see all over YouTube. Now, the biggest way is simply scrolling down and reading the comments. Now, you can actually read it here. If the comments seem super coherent and obviously English-based, like the endless watching content and learning without applying is a problem that most people struggle to get past. Started 2 months ago and posted a video every day since. The next 6 months is going to be interesting. Now, you can tell all of these comments are from first world countries. Whereas if you go on a channel like, for example, a different one, the comments might be like emojis or love from India and shit like that. And that's a really, really, really good indication that specific niche is not worth doing because, of course, the demographic isn't going to be US. And again, that's personally what I've kind of used to kind of find if a niche has a high US demographic. Another way you can obviously do it is, let's say, for example, you were doing a Harry Potter channel. You could literally look up demographics of Harry Potter viewers and it will tell you where they're from. So again, 61% of Harry Potter viewers are probably from the United States of America, which gives us a really, really, really good indication that the majority of the viewers in a niche like this are going to be first world. Whereas if you were to do an anime, a lot of the viewers are going to be from Japan, from Asian speaking countries, because that's where the biggest kind of fan base of that show resides. Now, the next thing, which is again, probably the second biggest thing, is of course, video duration. Now, this is insanely important and very, very straightforward. There are kind of 3 pillars to YouTube automation. First being short form, which is anywhere from 1 second to 180 seconds. Then you have long form, which is of course regular content. That is anywhere from 3 minutes to about 45 minutes. And I'd say after that 45-minute part, you get to ultra long form. And this is anywhere from 45 minutes to 10 hours long. Now, nobody talks about this. The way a YouTube RPM is kind of calculated isn't based on how long your video is. It's based on how often ads are played in your video. But again, if you have a longer video, you're going to be able to play much more ads per viewer than you would on a shorter video. And that's, of course, why ultra long form channels have the highest RPMs. Now, let me give you an example of an ultra long form channel. That would be something like Darth Theorist. He's obviously posting, 45 to about 2 hour long content on kind of Star Wars what ifs. You can see here, what if the father sent Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, an hour and 20 minutes long. Now, this is of course ultra long form, meaning your RPM is probably going to be anywhere between $15 to $30 RPMs. And again, guys, if you want to actually generate ultra long form videos in minutes, we have tons of people getting monetized right now using my personal software. Go ahead and check out monetize.net, book a completely free call with myself. And if you seem like a good fit and you do well on the call, we'll definitely be in touch. And again, when you work with me on monetize.net, you get complete access to my personal tools, produce.so. Now, this is literally the software that I've created to generate ultra long form videos. I can click on generate video, choose my niche, whether that's space, choose how long I want the video to be, upload my audio, choose background music, choose ambient sounds, do my subtitles, do everything. And you get direct access to this in my program, Monetize.net. And again, if you're not monetized in the first 90 days, you get a complete money back guarantee, no questions asked. Now again, guys, if you want to check that out, it's Monetize.net. Book a free call, fill out the form, and I'll make sure to be in touch. Now, the next thing that is obviously going to play a factor in your RPM is your age demographic. That means where your average viewers are kind of located. So for example, let me go ahead and show you one of my ultra long form channels that is currently monetized. So this is one of my ultra long form channels in the law niche. You guys can see we're averaging, about $1,200 to $1,300 a month at the moment. Obviously, if we head over to the RPM tab, we have a $15 RPM. Now, the biggest thing that obviously affects this is, of course, your age demographic. Now, the older, the better. And as you can see here, this ultra long form channel has a massive US demographic. Of course, the majority of the viewers are from first world countries. And the age demographic is very, very much on the higher side. Now, the reason why we much prefer 25 to 34 as opposed to 13 to 17 is because an advertiser, in their eyes, the older demographics have a lot more money to spend on a specific product than those cheaper and lower versions would. And again, that's why when we are kind of targeting a niche, this is definitely something that is a lot harder to kind of track. But again, one of the ways we can do this, you can't just read through comments. I mean, you can, but you're not really going to be able to tell whether or not they're older or younger. But a way we can do this is by looking at the specific niche itself. So for example, if they're posting videos like the Amagi, this guy does ultra long form content in the Naruto niche. And you can see he's absolutely killing it. This guy has 2 million subs. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, close to $1 million a year. Now we can actually see his average demographic by simply looking up average age demographics of Naruto viewers. And you will see right here, late teens to late 20s, approximately 16 to 29. And that would obviously tell us that the age demographic is probably going to be about this 18 to 24 to 25 to 34 range. And obviously the ultimate question you should be asking yourselves at the end of the day are the viewers worth acquiring from an advertisement standpoint? Meaning, will advertisers want to drop money on actually acquiring those specific customers? And again, if the answer is yes, it is a very, very profitable niche. If the answer is no, and you've got India and Pakistan, South Sudan viewers, it's probably not the best idea to start a niche like that. Now, this is where the video gets insanely important and how following some of these steps can quite literally double or even triple your RPM. I see so many massive channels literally getting monetized that are probably missing out on millions of dollars a year because they're not using these little easy tricks, right? First thing, ad placement. This is so important. Now let me head over to one of my channels. Now, this is a video we posted in the ultra long form niche. If we go ahead, and by the way, when you're actually posting a video, you can quite literally select how often you want your ads to play. Now, this is probably the biggest thing that nobody does. If you head over to the Chrome store, you can literally get this thing called YouTube Ad Placer. You can select how often you want your ads to be placed. It's completely free. I like to do 30 seconds, so an ad every single 30 seconds. And again, before you guys freak out, no, this is not going to mess up your RPM. YouTube isn't actually going to place an ad every 30 seconds. It's going to place an ad as often as it sees fit. So it's not actually going to be spamming your viewer. It's not going to ruin your AVD. Now, what you want to do is place an ad every 30 seconds, click on place, and you'll see just how many more ads are getting placed in this one video. And you'll actually see such a drastic change in the RPM by simply doing this on every single upload. Like, it takes a few minutes to do. But again, you are just going to be giving your average viewer hundreds of ads. And again, this works so much better on an ultra long form channel because again, people are falling asleep to the content. But I want you guys to keep in mind, this works on regular long form as well. This is not just ultra long form. And again, that is completely done. I can click on continue, go ahead and click on save. And in a few days, this one video that had far less ads is going to have a much higher RPM than it otherwise would have. Now, the next thing, and this is another very, very simple trick that people simply don't even know about. When you're monetized, click on the settings tab, head over to the ad categories. Now, this is essentially categories that YouTube is going to block by default. We can simply click on the button that says block tabs, and by default, alcohol and gambling ads are always going to be blocked. By simply unblocking both of these, YouTube is now able to serve those specific ad categories on your content to advertisers, and that's going to increase your RPM anywhere from about 15 to 30%. So again, such a small little trick is going to have such a big difference on your RPM. And when you do all of these little tricks together, it really starts to culminate and you'll see why RPMs can be so drastically high. Now, this is obviously the last thing I want to talk about, and that's sort of understanding the difference between Q1 and Q4. So many people on Twitter might see somebody flexing $100 RPM. What they don't realize is that, for example, if you have $100 RPM in December, that RPM could quite literally go down to like $30 to even $40 in January, February, March. Because if you guys don't know how this works, and this is very, very advanced, invest. Advertisers have a set budget every single year to invest into creators. Now, at the start of the year, that budget is spent pretty wisely because they want to maintain that budget throughout the year to make sure they have enough to kind of do ad campaigns throughout the year. But at the last part of the year, so quarter 3, quarter 4, that's like October, November, December, and getting later down the line, they have that specific budget that they have to spend. So what they're willing to do is invest a ton of money at the very, very end of the year on placing a shit ton of ads on videos. And that's why you'll notice that at the end of the year and quarter 3, quarter 4, RPM tends to double or even triple what it would be at the start of the year. Now again, guys, if you want to work directly with me in scaling an ultra long form channel and get direct access to all of my personal tools, go ahead and check out monetize.net. Again, it's completely free to use and it costs you guys nothing to book a completely free call. And if you're not monetized in the first 90 days, you get a complete money back guarantee on your ultra long form channel. And of course, if you want to join my Discord server, that's discord.gg/1%. We do daily giveaways and it's honestly just a super cool networking environment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.